excellent job in helping me out this evening is Ian Rodriguez from Bishop Collins and Terry Ryder from hotspotting.com.au. We would love to answer your questions, so pick up the phone and call us. The number is 1300 30 34 35, or of course you can also email us at property@skynews.com.au. Now, returning to the conversation, we've had a couple of good calls tonight, but Terry, I did want to talk about what your long-term view is on the economic and real estate situation. The resources boom hasn't really hit us yet in terms of the wider economy and also the real estate demand. You know, when is this going to happen?
Well, I think it's going to happen soon, but it hasn't happened yet, and I don't think it's reasonable to expect it to have happened yet. I think people are being very impatient. People are seeing in the media figures such as this $380 billion worth of investment coming up in the mining sector. How come my house value is not rising? Well, how come I'm not instantly wealthy? I think it takes time for the benefits of the resources boom, which hasn't really started yet because most of that $380 billion is in planning, to filter down to the broader economy and eventually through to real estate prices. We're starting to see some trickle-down effect. For example, there's massive investment coming up in Gladstone, and although most of the construction hasn't yet started, there's about $100 billion worth targeted on Gladstone alone in Queensland, but none of it's being built yet. But the early contracts that are being handed out have helped soak up 55,000 square metres of office space in the Brisbane CBD, because the companies that are getting the early contracts have their headquarters in Brisbane and they're expanding and taking on new staff, and eventually that's going to flow through to the residential market because that new staff has to find somewhere to live.
No, it is interesting. What are your thoughts about that, Ian?
I had a pretty interesting conversation with some of my colleagues from around the nation, from all the states. And, you know, some of the comments that are coming back, I mean, mining, if it hasn't really kicked in, the whole mining boom thing, and there is a lot more to come, what's it going to feel like? Because at the moment it certainly feels like they are really taking a lot of resources into the mining industry, away from other industries in a lot of cases. It will drive things, it'll drive investment, it'll drive properties, but it's also going to disadvantage other industries trying to compete with them. In our humble game of accounting, I mean, they can afford to pay large sums of money to accountants to go and work for them in these industries, and they're taking them away from other industries. So it's all very interesting. I wonder if we'll all be working for the mine soon.
Well, I wonder if we're actually really prepared for what's about to happen. And clearly, you know, we've talked before on this program about the fact that we don't really have enough labour to cope with what's going to be needed in long term to support a lot of the long term the boom that we have across NWA. So I'm wondering whether we actually have enough housing for them as well, which brings me to my next question.